Hello everybody, and welcome to my first Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild video. I'm going to make a fairly short series outlining how you can pretty much get very powerful and trivialize some of the endgame content as soon as possible. It's mostly going to have to do with armor and some of our gear, so right off the bat we're going to grab the armor that we're given, and that brings our defense to 2. In terms of looting the environment, grab what you can while you can. However, for the purpose of this demonstration, I'm not going to be going too far out of my way, mostly because I want to demonstrate that, for the most part, we're not going to need the money or effects that we're going to be getting from these items. For the purpose of this demonstration, I'm not going to be picking up Korok seeds as I pass them. I will point them out in case you're interested for your own run. However, it's not going to be necessary for what I'm trying to demonstrate here. Here we grab this one just because it's literally on the way to the very first weapon that we get, so it's real easy to just pick up along the way. Throughout my demonstration, we'll be picking up as many ancient parts as we can. In fact, this one we'll be coming back to because it has no legs and is in the water. Already we're picking up our first equipment upgrade, which will actually double our overall armor at this point. From here, just head to the point on your map, which is the tower, and then talk to the old dude afterwards. Loot the decayed guardians along the way, and then go ahead and head to the first shrine. Inside the shrine, kill the guardian scout so that you can get its ancient parts. Also, the large gap ahead can actually be cleared without having to use magnesis. Just make a jump like you normally would and then begin a shield sled by holding ZL and pressing the A button. After you're done talking to the old guy outside of the shrine, don't leave just yet. Part of the way we're going to make a lot of money in this run is by cashing in on gemstones, and there's actually a couple in chests right here in the pond that we can get out now with magnesis. Earlier in the video I mentioned coming back for decayed guardians that have no legs and are in water. Well, here's another similar situation. This one's not in water, however we do have a metal object that we can fling around. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to turn this thing upside down and reveal even more ancient parts that we can loot. On our way to the next shrine, we're going to stop here for a chest that has a gemstone in it. All around the next shrine are some decayed guardians, 3 of which are live. Now these are actually somewhat easy to tackle right now. If you don't actually feel like trying it in your own run, it is something you can come back to at a later point where it will be much easier. However, if you reach a point where you don't have the ancient parts that you need, you'll have to come back and at least try. Now the thing is you want to use your shield to reflect the laser that they shoot. My recommendation, at least on these ones when you're point blank like this, is to wait until you hear the noise quickening, and the moment you see a flash of blue, just have your thumb ready on the A button and just twitch, and you should reflect it in time and blow them up. Now the first one you blow up will set the tall grass on fire, which, you know, will make the parts fly, kind of. So you might have to wait a second to gather all the parts, but that's pretty much that. And then you can go around to all the other ones and loot them and reflect the other 2 before actually going into the shrine. After the second shrine, we're going to head in a west by southwest direction to head to the old man's cottage in the woods. Once you're there, we're going to do a circuit around the old man's place to pick up as many stamella mushrooms as we can, and then we're going to do a little preparation for the journey ahead. One thing you want to make sure that you grab is the spicy peppers inside on his table. You're probably only going to need to cook one of those up for what's to come, and you'll see why then. But you can cook up the second one if you'd like, just to be on the safe side. Also, we're going to cook up all the stamella mushrooms. I prefer doing like half of them one at a time, half of them two at a time, just so you have a small assortment and you don't burn up all your mushrooms. They're pretty handy to have because the last thing you want to be doing is climbing up a tall cliff and then run out of stamina. So that's why we're preparing in this manner. I edited out most of the cooking, but here we can see that I'm taking some of my miscellaneous remaining ingredients and just cooking them up. And the reason for this is going to be just because selling off excess supplies like this, that after we cook them, is going to be another source of money for us. When you're inside the third shrine, make sure you pick up and hold on to the iron sledgehammer. We're going to need to have one of these on hand at all times through this demonstration. Once you start walking through the area that's too cold, if you wait until you actually have a heart deficit before eating the spicy pepper we picked up earlier, you'll also benefit from the heart gain, and that way you can make the cold resistance last a little bit longer, although you probably won't need to make it last longer. It should be nighttime, so sneaking up on this blue bokoblin should be relatively easy. He's got a nice weapon, a nice shield, and is guarding a chest that indirectly gives us money. In this rock here, you can always find a random gemstone, and the old man will always be up here until you get off the Great Plateau, and if you don't have the warm doublet already, talking to him, he'll give you one. It's the fastest way to acquire it. Inside the final shrine of the Great Plateau is another Guardian Scout, so just make sure you kill it so you get the pipes. The weapon in the chest in here is a spear, which I don't much care for myself. I used them a lot when I was newer to the game, and then I realized that two-handed weapons are a way to deal with tougher enemies. Once you're finished with that fourth shrine, after you're done talking to the old guy, stick around long enough to pick up the chest that's in the pond here. The water inside is very ice cold, so make sure you don't fall into it. If you want, you can always teleport back here after you have the paraglider. It makes it a little easier, but that's just a little bit of a waste of time in my opinion. As we head to the Temple of Time, take a quick stop at the little lake here to grab the opal that's in the chest. We are going to take a quick detour, as I pointed out earlier, because we now have Cryonis and can tip this Guardian. As you can see, sometimes it can be a little challenging, but if you keep at it, the yield is usually going to be worth it, at least at this point in the game. And we've reached the first fork in the road between Heart Container and Stamina Vessel. Now, the conventional wisdom is to go with Stamina, and there are just so many reasons for this. Breath of the Wild is a big open world, so more Stamina allows you to climb for longer, float farther, get around easier. There's also out-of-combat ramifications. But the one thing most people don't talk about is you regenerate Stamina based on your max Stamina. So the more Stamina you have, the faster you can get it back. So it's kind of like double dipping. More importantly than that is the reasons why we don't care about heart containers. In Breath of the Wild, combat is about avoidance. You're trying to dodge, you're trying to block, and then when you do take damage, your armor, your defense level, basically mitigates that damage. And this demonstration is about getting as high a defense as possible, as early as possible, so we're going to pretend like hearts don't matter at all. And that's going to do it for this part of my series. The main point was just to breeze through the Great Plateau, getting as much money as possible without wasting too much time. Let me know what you think about making Zelda videos. Can you see where the series is going? Tune in for more. Hit the like and subscribe button if you feel I've earned it, and I will see you in the next one. Take care.